my name is Madeline, and welcome to this Yin Yoga class for self-care. So this will be a pretty gentle class. We'll be holding poses for a long time, maybe a little longer than usual. So I think around 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that, give or take. And we'll just take this time for ourselves to really sit in whatever we're feeling. Just be gentle with yourself here. There's no need to do any poses you don't feel like doing. Just take this hour or so for yourself. So let's get started with a little bit of breath. We'll just take 3 deep breaths to ground into the space. So you can let all the air out now. Take an inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhale out the mouth. One more inhale through the nose and hold the breath at the top. And let it all go, exhaling out the mouth. And from here, we'll do a tiny bit of movement before getting into our yin poses. And we'll go for some seated cat-cows. So you can bring the hands to the knees. And as you inhale, begin to arch the spine forward, looking up. And then round the back as you exhale. And you can continue like this or take any kind of fluid movement that feels good in the body. So maybe you want to make some circles in one direction and then the other direction. Just listening intuitively to whatever your body is needing. And let's take one more deep breath here. Then come back to center, and we're going to get into our first yin pose, which will be a supported child's pose. So if you have a bolster or a pillow, you might want to grab that. If you don't have one, no worries. You can do it without the bolster. So if you do have that bolster, just placing it long ways in front of you, coming onto hands and knees, bringing the feet together, knees wide on the mat. Then you can place that bolster in between those knees and start to walk forward. So maybe the chests rest on top of the bolster. Again, you can do this without it if you prefer. And just place one cheek on the bolster, and I'll let you know when it's time to switch to the other side. So settling in here, feeling the support of the bolster underneath you, feeling the ground beneath you. And breathing deeply here. If you have one cheek down on the bolster, just go ahead and switch to the other side now. And let's take a few more deep breaths here. And start to take one last deep breath here. And then slowly can start to press back up onto those hands, taking your time, no rush. If you're using that bolster, you can just go ahead and place it off to the side and then start to come forward onto hands and knees. Once you're here, maybe you want to go for a couple of cat cows or take any kind of movement that feels good in your body. And take one more breath here. And come back to center. And we're actually going to come into a toe squat. So this might be the most intense pose of our class. And you might want to grab your block here if you have it. So we're going to start on our knees and then tuck the toes underneath you. If this already feels like a lot, you can stay here. If you want to feel it even more, start to sit back on top of those heels so you're really feeling the opening in the feet. And this can definitely be a lot, so you might want to grab your block and place it underneath the knees here. And again, if you feel any pain or anything, you can always come out of the pose. So, just working with this area that doesn't really get a lot of attention. And try to focus on the breath here, trying not to hold or clench. And we won't be holding this one for as long, so let's try to keep breathing. And we'll go for a few more breaths. No, you can always come out of it. And take one more deep breath here. If you're using the block, let that go. And just come slowly, really gentle here. Come back onto hands and knees. You can untuck those toes and slightly tap really gently on the mat. Then we'll come back into a seated position. And from here, we'll come into a butterfly pose. So you can start to bring the soles of the feet together. They can be in a diamond-like shape, or you can have them close in, whatever feels good. Option two, grab a couple of blocks and place them underneath the knees for some extra support. And if this feels like enough, you can just stay upright in this position. If you want some more, start to fold forward towards those feet, really letting the spine soften and round, let the head drop. So you're getting that nice opening in the hips. And try to imagine any tension, any stress just melting off the back. And breathe really deeply. We often hold our breath when feeling stressed. So just try to really go fully breathing into the belly, all the way up into the chest. And remember, keep breathing deeply. The deeper you breathe, maybe the deeper you're able to sink into the pose. And we'll start to take a few more deep breaths here. So, yeah, really holding these poses for a long time. And take one more breath here. And then slowly start to press back up if you're folding forward, taking your time. You can place the hands on the knee, on the thighs, and then gently guide those knees back together, removing the blocks if you were using them. And maybe bringing hands behind you and taking a couple of windshield wipers side to side. And so as we hold these poses for a long time, it can be a bit mentally challenging. So just try to sit with any discomfort in the mind and just notice what's going on without any judgment. And then whenever you're ready, return back to center, and we're going to make our way down onto our bellies now. So coming down all the way onto the belly, and we're going to come into a half frog pose. So you can bring your head down to the mat, maybe to your hands, and we're going to start to slide that right knee up in line with the right hip. So you're kind of making a right angle in that right leg. You might want to grab a blanket, place it underneath the knee if you're using or if you're on a hardwood floor. Just makes it a lot more comfortable. But again, trying to get right knee in line with right hip. So you feel that opening in the hip space, and then just let everything go again, feeling yourself supported by the ground beneath you. Keep breathing deeply. And let's start to take a few more deep breaths here. Take one more deep breath, and then slowly start to slide that right leg back in line with the left leg. Once here, you can wiggle out the hips a little bit, shaking them side to side. Then just pause back in stillness at the center. And we'll stay here for a few moments, just noticing the difference between the two sides. And take one more breath here. And then we'll move into the other side. So this time sliding left knee up in line with the left hip. And then trying to make a right angle with that leg. So you feel it in that left hip space. And settle in here, breathing deeply and feeling the support of the earth. And let's take a few more deep breaths here. Take one more deep breath. And then slowly start to slide left leg back in line with the right. Maybe you want to wiggle out those hips again. And then pause back at center just for a couple moments. Hopefully the body is feeling relaxed. And take one more breath here. And we're going to stay down on our bellies and we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So start to press up onto those forearms. Forearms will be parallel with each other in front of you. And the gaze can be out slightly in front of you as well. Option to grab a block and place it underneath the forehead for some extra support. And if neither of those feel good, you can always walk the elbows out a little bit and then take hold of opposite elbows. So you're still getting that opening in the front of the chest. So a few different options here, just taking whatever feels best for you. And then imagine the breath traveling up and down the spine. Let's take a few more breaths in Sphinx. Take one more breath. And then wherever you are, begin to let it go, coming all the way back down to the mat. And maybe you want to rock those feet from side to side, doing some windshield wipers on the belly here. Then return back to center. And press up onto those hands. And from here, we'll come into a melting heart pose. So if you have a blanket and the knees are sensitive, you can place that underneath the knees and try to keep knees and hips in one line here. And start to walk those hands towards the top of the mat. If you want a little more, you can always grip the top of the mat with your fingertips, but no need. And then start to draw the chest down towards the earth. Maybe forehead touches the mat. So, really feeling it in that upper body. Option to walk the hands a bit wider on the mat if you're feeling some pain tingling in those arms. And settling in here, breathing deeply. And we'll take a few more breaths here. Take one more breath. And staying low to the ground, begin to let it go. Begin to slide back into a closed leg child's pose, arms reaching back behind you, softening the shoulders, letting everything go. And again, we'll stay here just for a few moments, absorbing the effects of that pose. And take one more breath here. And then slowly start to press back up onto your knees and come over to one side. And we'll grab that bolster again to come into a deer pose. So we'll place that bolster long ways in front of us and then start to bring that left thigh in line with the top of the bolster here. Again, you don't need to use the bolster if you don't have one. And then you can start to bring those legs in these two triangle-like shapes. So sole of the left foot will be slightly touching that right thigh. And then twist forward in front of you towards the bolster and start to come down onto your chest, letting it rest on the bolster or coming down to the mat or a block if you're not using it. Again, let yourself feel supported here. And breathe deeply. Remembering that deep breath. Let's take a few more breaths here. Take one more breath. And then slowly start to press back up. Take your time. And just leave that bolster there. We'll go right into the other side. So again, there's no rush here. Just switching to that other side. So this time placing right thigh against the top of that bolster and bringing those knees into kind of these two right angles. Sole of right foot slightly touching that left thigh. And then come to twist forward, facing forward towards that bolster. And then start to drop the chest down. Again, feeling the support, feeling the difference in the two sides. And we'll take a few more breaths here. Take one more deep breath. And slowly press back up onto the hands. You can let go, remove that bolster. And we'll just go ahead and swing the legs in front, maybe shaking them out a little bit. And coming all the way down onto the back now. You can hug the knees into the chest, rocking a couple times, side to side. And then we'll extend those legs out long We're going to come into a banana asana. So you can reach the arms up above you, shift the hips a little over to the right, then walk those feet over to the lower left corner of the mat and the upper body over to the upper left corner of the mat. Option to cross right ankle over left. Maybe grab hold of right wrist with the left hand. Option to take opposite elbows instead, or go for any other arm variation that feels good. So you're just making this crescent like shape in the body. And send the breath all the way up and down the right side body. And we'll take a few more breaths here. Take one more breath. If you have ankles crossed, begin to uncross them. Let go of the wrist if you're holding on. And just draw that body slowly back to center. Hands can come down by your sides. Just pause for a couple moments before moving into that other side. Then whenever you're ready, reach the arms back up above you. And this time we'll shift hips a little over to the left, walk the feet over to the lower right corner, and the upper body over to the upper right corner. Option to cross left ankle over right. Maybe grab hold of left wrist with right hand, or go for any other arm variation that feels good. And this time, really breathing into that left side body. And take a few more deep breaths here. Take one more. And if ankles are crossed, begin to uncross them. Let go of the wrist. And slowly shift that body back to center, bringing the arms back down by your sides. And this time, maybe you want to hug the knees into the chest and rock a little side to side. And from here, start to take any movement or poses that your body is still needing. So maybe happy baby, maybe a twist, maybe a snail. Take your time here. There's no rush. And then whenever you're ready, coming all the way down onto the back, start to extend the legs out long. Let the arms drape down by your sides and surrender into the earth for your final resting pose, Shavasana. And if you have the time, I encourage you to stay in the Shavasana for as long as you like. If you have to get going, we'll close with one final breath. So you can exhale all the air out now. Take a deep inhale through the nose, and then a big sigh out the mouth. And thank you so much for practicing with me and for taking this time for yourself. And if you'd like to see more yin yoga classes like this, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know how this went in the comments below. And I'll see you again next time.